My wife said, "You don't match my lifestyle. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to introduce you." I replied, "Good to know." That weekend, she hosted a big family gathering, but when her father asked me to explain something she had been lying about for months, her fork slipped right out of her hand. I'm Daniel, 35, and 4 days ago my wife told me I was an embarrassment to her social status. What she didn't know was that I'd already discovered the web of lies she'd been telling her family about our finances, and I was about to expose everything in front of the people whose approval she valued most. I've been married to Melissa for 6 years. We met when we were both 29, got married quickly, maybe too quickly, and settled into what I thought was a decent life together. She works in pharmaceutical sales, makes good money, travels for conferences. I'm a public librarian. I love my job, love working with the community, love connecting people with books and resources. The pay isn't great, but it's stable and meaningful work. Melissa's family is wealthy. Not billionaire wealthy, but comfortable. Her father owns a chain of dental practices. Her mother comes from old money. They've always been polite to me, but there's been this underlying current of disappointment that Melissa didn't marry a doctor or lawyer or someone more suitable for their circles. About 8 months ago, Melissa started acting differently. She'd make comments about my job, my clothes, my car. "Don't you want more than this? Aren't you embarrassed driving that 15-year-old Honda? My colleagues' husbands all have real careers." I tried to brush it off as stress from her job, but it kept getting worse. Last Tuesday evening, we were getting ready for bed. She was on her phone scrolling through Instagram, looking at posts from some work event she'd attended. I was reading. Out of nowhere, she said, "You know what? I need to be honest with you." I put down my book. "Okay. You don't match my lifestyle anymore. I'm at these events with successful people, and when they ask about my husband, I have to explain that you work at a library. Do you know how that sounds? Like I married down. I didn't realize my job was something you had to explain away. It's not just the job, it's everything. Your clothes are from Target. You drive a car from 2009. You don't care about networking or advancing yourself. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to introduce you." I just stared at her. Embarrassed. Yes. I'm sorry, but someone needs to say it. My parents ask why we're not buying a bigger house, why we don't vacation in Europe like they do. What am I supposed to tell them? That my husband is content being a librarian forever? You could tell them I'm happy doing work that matters. You could tell them I contribute to our household. You could tell them a lot of things, but I'm guessing you haven't been telling them the truth. She looked away. What's that supposed to mean? It means I wonder what you've actually been telling them about our life. I tell them we're fine. Right. Fine. She went to sleep angry. I stayed up thinking. Something about her reaction felt off, defensive in a way that suggested I'd hit a nerve. The next morning, Wednesday, Melissa left early for a work trip. Wouldn't be back until Friday. After she left, I did something I'd never done before. I logged into our joint bank account to look at the statements. We'd always kept mostly separate finances, splitting bills proportionally based on income, but we had one shared account for household expenses. What I found made my stomach drop. Over the past 8 months, Melissa had been transferring significant amounts of money out of her personal account into our joint account, then immediately transferring it to a different account I didn't recognize. Thousands of dollars, multiple times. There were also cash withdrawals, large ones, $500 to $800 at a time, always with notes like home repair or furniture for things we'd never purchased. I called the bank. After verifying my identity, they confirmed the secondary account was in Melissa's name only. I couldn't access it, but they could tell me it existed. I spent Wednesday and Thursday digging. I checked credit card statements I had access to. Melissa had been spending extravagantly on clothes, jewelry, dinners at expensive restaurants, places I'd never been to with her. I found receipts in her office drawer for a designer handbag that cost $3,000, for shoes that cost $800, for spa treatments and salon appointments that totaled hundreds monthly. Then I found something else. A folder in her desk labeled Financial Planning. Inside were printed spreadsheets showing our combined income and assets, except the numbers were completely fabricated. She'd created documents showing that I made $95,000 annually instead of my actual $52,000, that we had $180,000 in savings instead of the actual $23,000 in our accounts, that we owned investment properties we definitely didn't own. At the bottom of one page, in her handwriting, for Mom and Dad review. She'd been lying to her parents about our financial situation, pretending we were wealthier than we were, and based on the fake income attributed to me, she'd been inflating my salary to make it seem like I wasn't as much of a disappointment as she actually thought I was. Friday evening, Melissa came home from her trip. I didn't mention what I'd found. I was calm, almost eerily calm. She asked what I'd been up to. I said, not much. She seemed relieved I wasn't bringing up Tuesday's conversation. Saturday morning, she reminded me that her family was coming over for dinner that night. Her parents, her brother and his wife, her aunt and uncle. Big family gathering she'd been planning for weeks. Please try to make a good impression, she said. Wear the nice shirt I bought you, and maybe let me do most of the talking. Sure, I said. Whatever you want. I spent Saturday afternoon helping her prepare, setting the table, arranging flowers, all while knowing what was coming. Around 5 p.m., her family started arriving. Her father Tom, her mother Patricia, her brother Mark, with his wife Jennifer, her aunt Susan, and Uncle Robert. Everyone was polite, friendly. Patricia complimented the house, asked how we were doing. Tom talked about golf. Mark bragged about his new promotion. Normal family gathering stuff, except I could feel Melissa's tension. She kept glancing at me like she was worried I'd say something embarrassing. We sat down for dinner around 6:30. Melissa had made her signature roasted chicken. There was wine, good conversation. About halfway through the meal, Tom turned to me. Daniel, Melissa mentioned you've been doing some consulting work on the side. How's that going? I looked at Melissa. Her fork stopped moving. Consulting work? Yes, the library consulting. She said you've been advising other libraries on their digital systems. Said it's been quite lucrative. Melissa's face went pale. Dad, maybe we shouldn't talk about work at dinner. I'm just curious, Tom continued. Melissa showed us some projections last month about your combined income, and it was impressive. She said you were making almost 6 figures with your base salary plus consulting. That's wonderful. We worried about the library job initially, but it sounds like you've really built something. The table went quiet. Everyone was looking at me. Melissa's hand was shaking slightly as she picked up her wine glass. I don't do consulting, I said calmly. I work at the library. That's it. I make $52,000 a year. No side work, no consulting contracts, just my regular librarian salary. Patricia looked confused, but Melissa said, Melissa has been lying to you. I pulled out my phone, opened the photos I'd taken of the fake financial documents. She created fake spreadsheets showing that I make $95,000 annually. She's been inflating our income, inventing assets we don't have, and presenting a completely false picture of our financial situation. Melissa's fork slipped out of her hand and clattered onto her plate. Daniel, what are you doing? I'm telling your family the truth, because apparently you've been embarrassed by the reality of being married to a librarian, so you invented a better version to show them. Tom reached for my phone. I handed it to him. He scrolled through the photos, the fake spreadsheets, the real bank statements I'd photographed showing our actual modest savings, the receipts for Melissa's excessive spending. Melissa, Patricia said quietly, what is this? It's not. I can explain. Please do, Mark said, because this looks like you've been lying to all of us about your finances for months. Melissa was crying now. I just wanted you to see that I hadn't made a mistake marrying him. You all had opinions about Daniel not being successful enough, not making enough money, and I wanted to prove that we were doing well, that I'd made the right choice. By lying? Tom's voice was hard. By creating fake documents and misrepresenting your husband's income? I was embarrassed. Everyone in this family is successful and wealthy, and I'm married to a librarian who drives a 2009 Honda and wears Target clothes. Do you know how that feels? So you lied to us, Patricia said, and you've been spending— How much have you been spending, Melissa? I pulled up the credit card statement on my phone. About $4,000 a month on luxury items, designer clothes, expensive dinners, spa treatments, all while telling me I was an embarrassment for not being wealthier. The table erupted, Tom demanding to see more proof, Patricia asking why Melissa would do this, Mark saying he couldn't believe his sister would lie to the family. Jennifer just sat there looking shocked. Susan and Robert exchanged uncomfortable glances. Melissa stood up abruptly. I'm not going to sit here and be attacked. Sit down, Tom said firmly. We're not done talking about this. You've all judged Daniel from day one. Maybe if you'd just accepted him instead of always asking about his career and our finances, I wouldn't have felt like I needed to lie. That's not fair, Patricia said. We've always been polite to Daniel. If you felt pressure, that's something you should have addressed with us, not by creating an elaborate fiction. And certainly not by stealing from joint accounts, I added quietly. Everyone turned to look at me. She's been transferring money from our joint household account to a private account, I explained. Thousands of dollars over the past 8 months, money that was supposed to go toward bills and savings. Tom stood up. Melissa, is this true? She was fully sobbing now. I needed money for things, for clothes and appearances. You don't understand the pressure of maintaining an image. Whose image? Mark interrupted. Nobody asked you to maintain any image. You created this pressure yourself. Update 1. The dinner ended shortly after that. Melissa locked herself in our bedroom. Her family left, but Tom pulled me aside first. Daniel, I owe you an apology. We never meant to make you feel inadequate. And I'm ashamed that my daughter felt she needed to lie about your income. That reflects poorly on how we raised her. I appreciate that. What are you going to do? About the marriage? I honestly don't know yet, but I'm not going to keep being treated like an embarrassment. After everyone left, I slept in the guest room. Melissa tried to talk to me through the door around midnight, but I didn't respond. Sunday morning, she came out looking exhausted. We need to talk. Okay. I'm sorry, for all of it, for lying to my family, for spending the money, for making you feel like you weren't enough. Do you actually think I'm not enough? Or do you just think your family thinks that? She hesitated. I don't know anymore. Maybe both. I got so caught up in trying to prove something that I lost track of what actually mattered. Which is? I don't know, Daniel. I really don't know. Update 2. The following week was tense. Melissa's mother called several times, wanting to talk to her about the financial deception. Her father apparently insisted that Melissa see a therapist to address what he called compulsive lying and status anxiety. Tom also called me directly on Tuesday. Daniel, I talked to a lawyer friend. If Melissa has been taking money from joint accounts without your knowledge for personal use, that could be considered financial misconduct. You'd have grounds for divorce if you wanted to pursue it. I'm not there yet, but thank you. I mean it when I say we never intended to make you feel less than. You're a good man. You contribute to society in meaningful ways. If Melissa can't see that, the problem is with her, not you. Thursday evening, Melissa came home with brochures for couples counseling. I made some calls. I found 3 therapists who specialize in financial stress and communication. Will you at least try this with me? Why? So you can learn how to be less embarrassed by me? So I can learn why I felt I needed to impress people more than I needed to be honest with my husband. That answer surprised me enough that I agreed to try 1 session. Update 3. The first therapy session was rough. The therapist, Dr. Marion, asked direct questions about our relationship dynamic. Melissa admitted she'd felt pressure from her family to maintain a certain lifestyle, but also admitted that much of that pressure was self-imposed. "They never told me I married wrong," she said. "But I saw my brother with his lawyer wife, my cousins with their doctor husbands, and I felt like I was the disappointment, the one who married the librarian." "Why is librarian an insult to you?" Dr. Marion asked. "It's not an insult, it's just not impressive." "To whom?" "To people who matter." "Like?" Melissa couldn't answer. Over the next few weeks, more came out. Melissa had been dealing with anxiety about her career, worried that she'd peaked and wouldn't advance further. She'd been comparing herself constantly to colleagues and family members. The expensive purchases were her way of feeling successful, of looking the part even if she didn't feel it internally. "But why lie about Daniel's income specifically?" Dr. Marion asked during our third session. "Because if he was successful too, then our life together looked like a success. If he was just a librarian making $52,000, then what did that say about my choices?" "It said you married someone you loved who does meaningful work," I interjected. "But apparently, that wasn't enough for you." We're still in therapy. Melissa has agreed to full financial transparency, shared access to all accounts, detailed budgeting, monthly reviews. She's also started therapy individually to address the underlying anxiety and image issues. Her family has been supportive but distant. Patricia told Melissa she was disappointed by the deception and needed time. Tom checks in with me regularly, which is oddly touching. Final update. It's been 3 months since that dinner party. Melissa and I are still together, still in therapy, still working through things. I'm not sure if we'll make it long term. Some days are better than others. She's cut her spending dramatically. No more designer purchases. No more expensive dinners she can't afford. She sold some of the items she bought during her spending spree and returned the money to our joint account. The biggest change is that she's been honest with her family. She told them the real numbers, apologized for the deception, and asked them to stop asking about our finances altogether. Tom actually respected that, said it was none of their business anyway. Melissa still struggles with feeling less than sometimes. She'll see posts on social media from colleagues or family members and spiral a bit. But she's learning to catch herself, to question why external validation matters so much to her. As for me, I've learned that I can't fix someone else's insecurity about my worth. I can show up, do my work, contribute to our life together. But if that's not enough for her, if she needs me to be something different to feel proud, then this marriage isn't going to survive. I'm Daniel, 35, librarian, husband to a woman who once said I was an embarrassment. We're trying to rebuild from that. Some days, I think we can. Some days, I'm not sure why I'm trying. But I know this. I will never again let someone make me feel inadequate for doing work I love, for living within my means, for being exactly who I am. If that's not enough for Melissa, then she was never enough for me either. Edit 1. A lot of people are asking why I'm staying. Honest answer, I don't know if I am long-term. We're trying therapy and seeing if the person she's becoming through this process is someone I can trust and respect again. If not, I'll leave. But I wanted to at least try before walking away from 6 years. Edit 2. Yes, I talked to a lawyer early on to understand my options. I have documentation of everything in case I need it. I'm not naive about protecting myself. Edit 3. The library job is great, actually. I got a small promotion last month and I'm working on a digital literacy program for seniors in our community. It's rewarding work and I'm proud of it. Anyone who thinks that's not enough can find someone else to impress.